teach you my secret start, and it's actually my mom's secret start. Growing up, this aroma that I smell of shallots and garlic saute. I know it's the perfect start to a meal. I know something good is about to happen in her kitchen. So today I want to take that knowledge that I've learned from her throughout the years. This is my start to almost all the meals that I cook. So what is the secret start? I think I just kind of spilled the beans. It is simply shallots, if you have them on hand. If not, onions are totally fine. You can use white, Spanish, sweet, red, whatever you have on hand, go for it. So the onions are part one, and the second part is simply garlic. So depending on what you need the aromatics for, it will dictate the size of what you're gonna cut the ingredients to. And also by purpose, I mean, like, are you using this for a sauce, a soup, rice, a marinade? So that would dictate what size. So it's really free for all. It's like a freestyle, so you don't have to like overthink it. You just gotta chop some stuff up, throw it in the pan, and then add seasoning. So the condensed version for all you experienced cooks out there is simply just to saute the shallots or onions, let it get kind of nice and lightly tan, then you throw in the garlic, and then you let it go. I mean, add seasoning and then let it go, and that's it, boom. So you could stop watching here if you're experienced, but for those of you who are a little bit more of a beginner, so just follow along and I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm gonna do. So today I will be making aromatics for rice. So I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna dice it, chop it, and like what kind of seasonings I typically would like to add for our rice. So, cameraman, come in closer. So here is how I would recommend to chop up a shallot, although there's no right or wrong way to do it, just don't hurt yourself. So typically I snip one end, so you see that. Turn it, snip the butt, and then there you go, clean. And then this part is a little tricky, just be careful. You're gonna lay the shallot, typically there's a flat side, so just lay it on your cutting board, make sure it's not going anywhere, and you're gonna press your palm on it and hold tight, please hold tight, and you're gonna just go right in the middle and slice through. So now you have two nicely clean halves. And then just simply just peel off the shell, and then you're left with this little beautiful half, and then same thing to the other side. Just peel it on off, and then boom, all right? And then same thing to the other piece. And then I can't wait to show you my garlic trick, because peeling garlic has never been easier. It's a little tedious, don't get me wrong, but it really amplifies your meal. I totally encourage you to use fresh garlic. Do not go for those easy jars. I mean, if you don't have time, I totally get it. Go ahead, do it. I won't judge you, but really, some fresh cloves of garlic truly makes a difference. So there you go, some nice shallot pieces. So like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do it. For me, I typically just hold it, and the way you want to hold it so that you don't hurt yourself is like a claw, like a bear claw. You're gonna hold it like this, and then your thumb, tuck it behind the shallot piece so that it's not wiggling anywhere. And then go take your knife and then just down. And then once you kind of find your rhythm, you kind of hear it, and then you just go. Make sure your knuckles against the knife so you'll never cut yourself. And then you have those nice even pieces. Just turn them the other way and just roughly go down. So you don't have to make them perfect, but you do generally want your shallots, your onions, kind of the same size. It's important when you're sauteing them, that way they cook evenly. The bigger pieces aren't gonna, sit there and not get tan while the little one burn away. So your goal is to just try to keep them even. Like I say, no wrong way to do it, but just try to keep the pieces kind of the same size. So then that's roughly how you would do it. I'm just gonna speed it up so we can get going to the garlic. Never, ever, ever rush. If you're a beginner, don't do what I just did. You might lose a finger. Just go at your own pace and just make sure they're of the same size. Just take your time, and the more you start chopping, the faster you will eventually get. So don't try to be a hero or show off. Let me take my own advice. I'm gonna chop, chop, chop. And then the rest of them. Always make sure you tuck your thumb at the back of the shallot or onion. I know sometimes I forget to, but it's very important. That way you don't slice your thumb, and you're also keeping the object that you're trying to cut in one place. It makes it so much easier. lately I've been trying to really daintily chop onions or shallots because we just got a puppy, so I'm not trying to have these pieces flying left and right. But otherwise, normal Ashley, I'll go so much faster, which is probably not good because you don't want an oopsie to happen, but trying to slow down for our pupper here, and also less cleaning to do if I get everything on the cutting board. I'm totally a fan of that. All right, so now the shallots all cut up. Next, I'm gonna do the garlic. So before I get going, I'm going to, at this point, turn on my pan so it can be nice and warm up. You never wanna throw food onto a cold pan. That's like a big no. So what I'm gonna do is just quickly turn it on. And since I am sauteing shallots, I don't want my shallots to burn. See, if you have onions, it's a little more forgiving. You have time, so you can keep it on like medium low. But for shallots, I recommend keeping it on low and keeping your eyes on it. Don't try to multitask because you're gonna come back to a burnt pan. So I'm gonna keep it on low heat and let it kind of warm up as we're gonna work on the garlic. Okay, so another trick that I learned from a relative. This one is from one of my favorite uncles. So, it's really simple. So I took a couple cloves because I love the taste of garlic. So here is like a garlic. Hopefully you've seen a garlic. This is in its raw form. I took it from a big thing and I peel it off. And now there's the shell. We don't want this shell. It's not tasty. So with my knife, I'm trying to slow down talking here. I talk so fast. Grew up on the East Coast, excuse me. So I'm gonna take my knife and then lay the garlic on its flat side. You're gonna take the knife, bring it in, lay it on top, boom. So I just hit it once and it's flat. So oops, there you go. It came right out of the shell, check that out. And then same thing with the other. Lay it on whatever flat side you want. Take your knife, hammer it a couple times, and then typically if it doesn't slide out like this, well, this one came out pretty nice. But if it doesn't slide out, for example, you wanna go into where you see the root is, which we're gonna come back to the other ones. Do a little snip, and then if you hold your knife down, you can peel it out pretty clean. Look at that, check that out. All right, so now I'm gonna go a little faster for the other two. All right, and then you're gonna come back and look for the little root of the garlic, just snip it. And what I just did, don't do. Make sure you always tuck your finger, like tuck it back before you snip. Don't just like go in happy with the knife because you can actually slice yourself. Don't want that happening, so there you go. And so it's all ready. So for the garlic, I'm just going to kind of lay it flat. Once again, kind of hold it down. And then just slice. Once again, go slow if you're not used to chopping stuff. And this is for rice, so I am gonna totally go back and chop it up some more. That way we don't have like a big chunk of garlic in a bite. That's not tasty. So there you go, and then just kind of gather them up in a nice little pile. And then what I like to do when I try to make them even and do like a rough chop or dice, get them in a nice little snow pile. Here you go. And then with one hand holding the back of the knife, this hand here, just gonna go down. And you're kind of trying to hold this down as you lift the other arm up. So your dominant hand is holding the knife, your not dominant hand is kind of holding the top of the knife, and then you're gonna just, see some flyaways, just gather them back in, get into the pile, all right? And then just go on down, chop, 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 chop. And then at this point, it looks pretty good, but I could chop it up more if I want to. I'm gonna just check on the pan. And the way I check is, listen closely, do not put your hand on the pan. This might look like I am, but I'm not. I'm just very close to it. So I'm trying to feel the heat radiating off it. So if I could feel it, that means it's nice and warm. I'm ready to add my oil. Another test is, I'm gonna add the oil. I just want enough to coat it. I don't want it swimming in oil. So you can always add more, you can't take away. That's true for all part of cooking. Never ever under season, but don't over season either. So it's nice and coated. And then I might just want to bump this up a little bit just to get the heat going. Once it's going, I can turn the heat back down. So I'm gonna let it warm up some more. Since I just add the oil, I want the oil to kind of get a chance to warm up before I introduce its friend to the party. So I'm not gonna throw it on in right away. So I'm just gonna go back, take my time, and mince out the garlic some more. You can make a beat while you're at it. Alright, so I'm gonna take a quick break, wash my hand because the garlic does get sticky, and I'll be right back. I am back with clean hands. So the pan should be hot for us by now. So the way to test it is I'm gonna just throw in just a little bit and see how it reacts to the pan, and then go from there. So you should ideally hear a sound, and then you know it's good. Not yet, we didn't hear anything. So I'm gonna just bump up the temperature and then give it a minute. All right, so when you see the shallots bubbling, you know that it's getting warm. Like, you see that little bubble? That is exactly what you want. So I'm gonna give it like about a few more seconds, and then I'm gonna dump this into here, and then we should hear that sound. Yes, that sizzling sound is super important. So what happens is when you throw that in, that is gonna help it caramelize and really bring out the flavor of the ingredient. And then, because we're taking this extra step to do this aromatics, and whatever we add this aromatic to, that's just adding a little bit more love to the overall meal. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add some more and see what happens. Hear that? That's perfect. That's exactly the sound we want. So I'm gonna go ahead and scoop all of this good stuff in, try not to let it go to waste. There you go, that is the perfect sizzling sound. So shallots, it really cooks so much faster than onions, so you really wanna keep an eye on it. And typically for onions, I can let it go longer before I add the garlic and seasoning. But for shallots, since it cooks so much faster than onions, I typically let it go for like maybe a minute, not even, throw the garlic in and let them cook together, because then that way the shallot doesn't burn and I don't want to compromise the integrity of it. So typically I would add this first, sprinkle a little bit of salt in, and I'm not going to tell you exactly, just get a feel for it, just like a little pinch. You're going to go around lightly, and then pepper. I love pepper, so I'm going to go a little more heavy-handed. Just sprinkle a little dash and then toss it. And then you want to see this translucent color in the shallot. This is a good color. Then I'm going to add the garlic. And this is why I'm going to turn my heat down a little bit. That way I can talk some more, show you some seasonings that I adore. Although this is, like I said, a freestyle. So whatever flavors that you and your family like, just go ahead and add that seasoning to it. Or it, like I mentioned in the beginning, depending on what you're trying to cook, if it's a certain ethnic, you might want to stick to that particular region's herbs and spices. So for today, I will be making some rice. No, actually, just kidding. I'm doing pot roast, so I'm not doing rice. I'm gonna do potatoes. So with potatoes, I kind of wing it. I bring a couple of different ethnic to the table. So I will show you the spices and herbs I like. Alright, so I just add the garlic. Once again, I'm big on every time you add an ingredient to the pan, you want to re-season and build up the flavor from the base up, or grounds up, whatever. So just lightly, because you can always add more salt. You don't want to under-season it, but you don't want to go too heavy-handed. You can't take it back. And then a little bit more pepper. And then if you feel that it's getting too brown too quickly on you before you can go to your pantry and grab spices, simply just push it off, go grab your spices. This is so not organized, don't mind me. I'm just gonna go in and grab a couple of my favorites. Okay. Okay. Alright, so I have a couple here to start. It took me a long time to build this spice cabinet, so don't feel like you have to have all of this in order to make this. No, the minimum you need is just the shallot, garlic, salt and pepper. That's all you need. All of this stuff is just gravy, extra stuff. So don't feel like you have to go out there and spend like a whole bunch of money for all of this. You don't. But if you happen to have it, take it out. All right, so paprika, I gotta say, this is like one of my favorite thing ever. I mean, if you can't stand spicy, don't go heavy-handed on it, or don't use it at all, but it doesn't really add like a heat element. It's more or less like a smoky, like death. Especially since this is the base of something, it's not like sitting at the top. You really wouldn't taste it, and it's beautiful coloring, so I'm a big fan. So I'm just, like I said, I don't really measure. My mom cooked this way. I think I got it from her. I just kind of go in, a couple dashes. As long as the color look nice, that's it. So this looks a little dry. I'm gonna add a little bit more oil. Okay, look at that color. Look at that color, it's so beautiful. All right, and then this is the fun part. So I'm just gonna go to town and add these seasoning because I love spicy stuff. Like I said, if you don't like spicy, please don't go and add red peppers. You're not gonna like it. But I love spicy, so I'm just gonna go to town with it. Like, there you go. And then herbs. I recommend fresh herbs, but you know, they can rack up the bill, so you don't need it. If you have dry ones, that's great. If you have fresh ones, that's even better. But today, I'm gonna be lazy girl. I'm gonna just stick to my dry herbs. So I'm gonna go in and sprinkle some herbs. If you're wondering what this is, it's, oh my God, I just got this recently. I'm so excited about it. It's called a global blend. I can't talk right now. And the special thing about this is it has a hint of lavender. I'll tell you exactly what's in here. I'm watching that. Thyme, marjoram, rosemary, basil, fennel, sage, and lavender. So I think that's gonna add a nice nuance to the potatoes I'm gonna be making later. And then I'm gonna go in with oregano as well, because I love this. Like a nice tablespoon-ish. Like I said, there's no exact, like for me, there's no exact math. I kind of go off by feel and color. So I'm gonna just give it a quick toss. And then this might sound crazy, but just a little sprinkle of sugar, just to kind of balance it all out together. And that's it. That's all she wrote. So this will be the base to my potatoes. I'm gonna blend it all together, and later I'm gonna tuck it into the oven and bake it. But this is so versatile. It doesn't only go into potatoes. You can use this as a really delicious base for our burger, kebabs, soups, salads, casseroles. I'm like running out of ideas. I can't think, but it's just super versatile. The more you cook, the more you'll see where these flavors blend. So that is it for today's segment. I'm gonna start this collection slowly but surely. So this is my base. I'm gonna kind of show you a couple different things that I generally do to kind of jumpstart my meals. So last time I did chicken stock. This time is my aromatics. So every time I refer to aromatics, this is what I mean. Just a shallot garlic base with some seasoning of choice, and then I kind of built the meals up from there. So until next time.